Welcome to the Debrief, where we talk to the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story is going next. I'm Jim Antle. I'm here today with commentary editor Conn Carroll. Conn, Democrats are starting to get used to the idea that maybe $3.5 trillion is not going to be the reconciliation bill's top line number. And now House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is trying to sell progressives, left-wingers, on the idea that they can do more with less, or that they can do a better job with fewer things. How is that going to go over with some of the Democrats in Congress?
Well, not well. It's already gone so bad that Pelosi's had to flip-flop on it. So on Tuesday night, she sent a letter to her caucus saying, look, since we're going to have a smaller number, we're going to pick one or two items, fewer things, and try to do them well over a longer period of time. But that's not what the progressives want. The progressives want to keep everything they want to do, but then only do it for 1 or 2 years. And they pushed back so hard that at her press conference on Wednesday following the Tuesday letter, she basically flip-flopped and said, oh, we can do all these things.
Right. And so you have this situation where the progressives know if they can pass certain things, if they can get these programs created, the likelihood is that they will continue.
I mean, I don't know if they know that. Mm-hmm. That's the plan, mm-hmm. right? But a lot of these things are complicated. Like universal pre-K, you're talking about government-run programs starting millions and millions of people creating new pre-K schools that you can't snap your fingers and create that. I mean, remember how disastrous the Obamacare rollout was. Right. And Obamacare was funded for 10 full years. Imagine if Democrats had to go back and get Obamacare totally reauthorized after it totally failed in 2014. That would have been a Republican dream scenario. And they seem to be walking right into that trap.
So there are fewer centrists really than ever in the Democratic Party. But because their majorities are so narrow, those smaller number of centrists matter more than they normally would. They've been able to have so far a pretty big impact on this process because their votes are needed. What is the left wing going to do to sort of counteract that? Because there's a lot more of them.
Well, I think we've already seen it, right? You send kayakers to Joe Manchin's house. Right. You send progressive activists, both male and female, into the bathroom after Christmas cinema. You bully, you harass, you call them names, you threaten primaries, you just basically try to bully them into acting and do what they want.
One reason the far left has been manageable to Democratic leadership in the past is because they are believers in government. So normally they can be brought along with the idea that passing something is better than passing nothing. That might be starting to change somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, the header of the Progressive Caucus has said exactly that. They asked her this week, would you rather have something other than nothing? And she said, no, nothing's fine. Like if we can only get breadcrumbs, we don't want that anymore. We want everything or nothing. And if that's truly their negotiating posture, then I think Republicans and maybe moderate Democrats looking at that and say, okay, nothing it is.
And you're looking at this with a really tight window to get anything done, both in terms of the legislative calendar, but also the political calendar. People are not going to want to take these tough votes heading into next year's midterm elections. And then after that, you don't know if Democrats are going to have majorities at all.
Yeah, we're looking at a real pileup coming into Congress over the next months. At the end of the month, you have the deadline for the transportation bill. Mm-hmm. If they're not able to pass the transportation bill by that time, then the highway fund runs out and states are not going to get their money from the federal government for construction projects. People are going to notice that. And then after that, at the beginning of December, you also have the debt limit, which Democrats haven't started the process of addressing. So there's a whole bunch of things that they have to do, and so far there's no plan to get them done.
So the Democrats may end up in a situation where they either pass a lot of change or they can't even commit to the basic functions of government.
It's trending that way. I mean, we'll see at the end of October if the progressives are able to hold the line again and not get the infrastructure bill done. Because there's a bill ready to go in the House, pass the Senate, all teed up, It would reauthorize transportation for the next couple years, and it would also give Biden a huge amount of infrastructure. And the only people holding that up are the progressives, and they're holding it hostage so they can get the other spending bill passed. But, last time they were able to get a punt for 30 days. We'll see if they'll get another punt this time. I don't know.
Thank you, Conn. You can read Conn and the rest of the Washington Examiner's political team at washingtonexaminer.com.